pale nuts under leaves, secretive gleam of berries. These, their survival depends on. And around the fire at night, they tell ancient tales, how the world began, how beings of legend and myth may touch our lives. On these, quite another kind of life depends. Some of these early explorers settle the land. Iberians, stoned by the use of fire, they release the magic of bronze, so that their weapons and their chariots glitter. The metal is worked in swirling shapes and gives, as it moves, effects of smooth and matte, making the surface seem to be shifting, changing, evoking life as a process of transformation. They sense a sacred world within this world, unknown, whose portals may open to take them in, or release from the mountainside other world beings. Spirits are hidden deep in the elements, in lake and marsh and river, in fire, in stone. Is a symbol of death, but of rebirth too. The living, trapped in great wicker men, are burned in sacrifice to the gods, so that those who remain may be favored and live in peace and prosperity. That crops may grow, young men set great wheels on fire and roll them towards the river. If they fall in, the crops will flourish, blessed by both sun and rain. If they fall short, the crops that year will fail. They cannot know when, far to the east, a star stops above Bethlehem, and a child is born whose life will show a new kind of sacrifice, and lead to this very valley so many seekers. Christ dies and resist domination. From nearby Carnelian, their stronghold, Silures strike out, awesome in woad, despising all body armor, to harry the Romans along this tree-lined combe, then, almost untouched, melt back through the shady woods to the English side of the Wye.
Let us rejoice. Never again shall the Saxons be seen in Gwent. I am an old man now. Oh, yes. My beard grows grey. It's time for me to set down my sword. And my tankard, too. Myrig, a man of peace, my beloved son, shall turn your minds from war. May swords be beaten to plowshares. As for me, you already know my mind. Christ calls me away to live in solitude to my life's end. At last.
Bless me, dear father. I fear to trouble you, and yet I must. The Saxons come again. Hearing you dead, they cross into Gwent tomorrow by this very ford. But terror will strike their hearts if they see you back from the dead to lead us. This is our only hope.
Leave me, my son. I will send my answer by dusk. May Christ be my guide.
Heaven has heard your agony of soul, Tudric, and I am sent to help you choose. If you stay here, a hermit, your son will die, your people will be conquered, but you will live on in solitude and peace in these trackless woods. If you do battle tomorrow, your death blow awaits you. But Myrig will rule in peace, never again to see the Saxons invade the kingdom of Gwent.
Then may Christ lead me in tomorrow's fight. No! Do not move me. Christ will fetch me home.
At these words, the legend says, from the dark of the forest, 2 milk-white stags appeared, drawing a hearse. Teodric, faint from his death blow, was lifted up, and the stags moved off as if led by an unseen hand. Wherever they paused, a sacred spring gushed out, so that the dying man might slake his thirst. Struck with astonishment, the men of Gwent followed behind, thinking the stags were leading to the Seven Shore, there to take ship for Eckney, now Flatholm Island, burial place of kings. But at Mathen, the stags halted for the last time, and Teodric knew that this was the chosen place. He asked to burn and loot upstream, where the pickings are rich. Tintern sleeps on, awaiting its destiny.
Habits to undyed white wool as a sign of the simple life, and unlettered men were welcome to take their vows and offer their skills to God in the fields and woods, setting aside the feudal Norman ways. Our land will be farmed not by lords and serfs, but by brothers working together.
Together they shape their days to Benedict's rule. Matins, dark before dawn.
All rise to greet the rising sun, bringing their own lights one by one. As Christ once washed his disciples' feet, they honor each other before they eat.
The stranger is welcome amongst us, as Christ would be welcome. Let us turn to our reading. As you know, brothers, our Pope was once a Cistercian monk. Recently, he asked advice of Abbot Bernard of Clairvaux, and perhaps the advice he got may be helpful to us. To whom are you not a stranger, if you are a stranger to yourself? In a word, if someone treats himself badly,
whom will he treat well?
So remember, I don't say always, or even often, but just sometimes. Remember to restore yourself to yourself. These cloisters represent an inner space.
These are thy waves, O God, thy winds. Stretch out thy hand, settle these waters, save thy people. Should you grant our lives, I will establish an abbey on my lands in southern Ireland, a daughter for Tintern.
Of love. With support from Roger Bigod III, Earl of Norfolk, Marshal of England, Lord of Chepstow Castle, the work develops, slowly but steadily. Towards the end of his life, aging and childless, and out of royal favor, Bigod declares,
I shall make a grant to you of my lands in Norfolk, my rich manor of Acle. Pray for my soul.
This gift greatly increases Tintern's wealth. The grateful monks of Tintern see Bigod as founder of the new church, and on the high east window they let his arms be emblazoned, more to the glory of Bigod, some say, than to the glory of God. Some 14 years after Roger Bigod's burial, walls made of windows, gables pointing like hands at prayer, shafts of light and shadow created by these arrowed buttresses. Over the west door, the Holy Child on his mother's arm, image of love on earth, draws pilgrim multitudes by its message of hope, the miracle-working radiance of a gentle spirit. And when, at dusk, the monks sing the Virgin's praise, voices and bells and brilliance stream out together.
Yes, Father Walter. My people won't stand for this. I know I shall find support in my native Wales. Chepstow awaits me. But I feel the need of a day's retreat among you.
We are honored, sire. This unexpected news strikes at our hearts.
Used to manual work, lay monks are more than a match for such weedy fellows. But now... it strikes at the young and the old, the poor and the rich, the good and the bad alike. Distorts their bodies with swords, turning them black. But run in this new way, the Grangers thrive. To be rid of Catherine of Aragon, who has brought him only a daughter. He needs a son. So far, no woman has sat on the throne of England. Should the Pope declare this marriage invalid, the King, a bachelor once more, could wed Anne Boleyn, who is Catherine's young and beautiful lady-in-waiting. But the Holy Roman Emperor is Catherine's nephew. He wants his aunt to remain the Queen of England, and he holds the Pope a prisoner. How can the Pope approve the King's divorce from the Emperor's aunt? How can Henry get his way then? A stalemate develops. With the help of the Bishop of Winchester. The following year, this girl, Catherine Howard's accused of meeting others in secret, so off with her head. A second Catherine, this one twice widowed before, marries Henry the following year. Back in the year of...
Well, what have you for me? I expect solutions. Sire, I suggest solutions through dissolutions. Those monasteries whose yearly income is low can be broken up, and little objection made. My commissioners have been visiting, valuing. They've drawn up stern reports. They list drunkenness, licentious behavior, theft as widespread vices. And the wealth of these places in goods is often great. I propose to confiscate silver, gold, precious stones to be at the king's disposal for the nation's coffers. There will be pickings too for those who support this. Sheep, cattle, stones for building, slates and lead.
As head of the church under God, I approve your work.
So the community dies this September day. Abbot Witch and his monks receive money, their servants too. They leave for the last time as the winter comes. The end is like the beginning. 12 months with their father. Within a few years, lead has been stripped from the roof, stones from walls, glass from those tall windows. The bells, silenced forever, are gone to make guns. But the window tracery, Gothic and glorious, stands, emptied of all but the radiance of morning's light. Learned, then jealously kept. Self-sufficiency in manufactured goods, that is Britain's aim, and Tintern's furnaces play a vital role. Soft iron is made nearby, iron that can be drawn through smaller and smaller holes, making thick wire, or thin as required. The process is long and skilled and provides spectacular sights. To some, they resemble the violent processes of the natural world.
The fire of the furnace where they melt the iron is so great that looking into the hole where the nozzle of the bellows is, it looks like the sun in a hot day at noon.
When the Civil War comes, fighting is fiercest elsewhere. Production at Tintern's furnaces does survive. But the Abbey's books, stored safely at Raglan Castle since the dissolution, are burned when the library burns. Their remains are scattered wide on the winds of war. Divisive days, but industry thrives at Tintern. And around the middle of the 18th century, the Abbey's neglected ruins begin to be cleared by the Duke of Beaufort, proud of their Gothic splendor. By 1770, though, the few who come barely remember the monks, seem much more struck by the busy life of the forges, of running metal.
Here now, no bell calls monks to morning prayer. Doors only chant their early matins here. Black forges smoke, and noisy hammers beat, where sooty cyclops passing drink and sweat, confront the curling flames, nor back retire, but live like salamanders in the fire. The liquid metal from the furnace runs, and caught in moulds of sand, forms pots or guns. Oft shifts its shape, like Proteus in the fire. Huge iron bars here dwindle into wire, assume such forms as suit the calls of trade. Ploughshare or broadsword, pruning hook or spade. These fruits of industry enrich the place.
The metal, the grind and creak of massive water wheels, the suffering bellows, and the voices of men shouting across the din as they struggle to throw great glowing lumps of iron. 1,500 men find employment here. Water, wood, iron ore, and transport by river, 4 gifts of nature in which this area is rich. How differently made use of at different times. People begin to visit in greater numbers. Many appreciate the contrasting powers of nature and industry in this special place. Among them, the Reverend
An abbey might be made more picturesque by a little judicious demolition. Though the parts are beautiful, the whole is ill-shaped. A number of gable ends hurt the eye with their regularity and disgust it by the vulgarity of their shape. A mallet judiciously used might be of service in fracturing some of them. A mallet judiciously used. Who durst use it? Might be of service.
Gilpin's book appears in 1782. People carry it in their hampers. They draw and make notes as their boats row down the Wye to the landing place. They argue about the rules of picturesque beauty. They see it through his eyes and his alone, for rules dictate their vision, and fashion follows rules.
Here I would point my cannon, whose ball, glancing at the north aisle of the choir, must soon level the reprehensible upright. Then smack take me out the famous column, as it idly termed, in the middle of the east window, yet standing in defiance of time or its perilous situation. This will I do in contempt of your Gothic workmanship, ye barbarous founders, or the flights of modern panegyrists, in vindication of false taste and those dark ages which gave such rude constructions birth.
Spontaneous burst of admiration, and filled me with delight such as I scarcely ever before experienced on a similar occasion.
His delight echoes that felt by artists and poets. Turner, at 17, makes a visit here. In his sketches, he draws attention to height and space, the sunlit emptiness. Here's a local man, tools of his trade laid by, gazing in awe, just as the artist does. Emotion links them.
Of when you were here before.
Yes, I'm remembering that. I might even bring the two visits together. What do you think of this? Does it evoke the place? Once again, I see these hedgerows, hardly hedgerows, little lines.
Flickering in the light and smoke of torches. And at harvest time, parties are formed to wait for the great gold moon to rise through the rose window. The paddle steamers from Bristol and the new road winding along the valley make day excursions possible at long last. And they come by their hundreds. People who couldn't enjoy Tintern's beauty before, or the marvelous sight of Angidi's forges at work. A visitor in autumn 1828 can describe the red, the blue, and the yellow flames still rising like glowing towers in the heavy air. By the late 1800s, the wire works are in decline, though there is a prestigious order in 76 for parts of the first transatlantic telegraph cable. When the railway... The Wye Valley read rumors of war. The weather that summer is glorious, and a fete is held in the field beside the Wye.
bid you all welcome. May I bid you all welcome on this fine summer's afternoon. We are honoured that Her Grace, the Duchess of Beaufort, has consented to open the fete. We are indebted also to Lady Edward Somerset, who has kindly offered the use of these splendid grounds for this worthy occasion. Without more ado, Your Grace.
It gives me great pleasure to visit this beautiful place again. I now declare the fete open, and I hope you will be very successful.
Come into the garden, Maud, for the black-bad night has flown. Come into the garden, Maud, I am here at the gate alone. I am here at the gate.
For many, this marks the end of an era. So few of the young men here will ever come back again. men from the mines and rural valleys of Gwent. The 1st Battalion, the Monmouthshire Regiment, E Company, is to gather in Chepstow's drill hall. Those who arrive by train down the Wye Valley that morning can't help but notice, despite the banter, the bustle, and the excitement of setting out, these summer woods, and across the shining Wye, rising above the fields, the stones of the Abbey, the sunlit tracery of its empty arches. The 2nd Battalion went out before Christmas. The 1st followed in the middle of February, 1915.
On the 19th instant, outside the orderly room, I saw the searchlights and flashes of gunfire, and at last I realized that there was a war on. We are in a hole now. No news from anything or anyone.
It is a very strange Easter. Things have been very quiet since Thursday, with no rifle fire at all, except during the night. I do not feel particularly savage just now. Things look quite springy here, and there are lots of primroses and cowslips out. If I can get a few before this is collected, I will enclose them.
We're going to church parade this morning.
Facing 6 German divisions. On the 8th of May, all 3 of the Monmouth battalions were in the line, along with regular troops.
As soon as day broke, they commenced to shell us and kept it up for 12 hours. There were quite a number of men killed and wounded by 10 o'clock, and shortly afterwards the Germans could be seen advancing. They came behind the hedges in little groups, and some of them occupied a farm just in front of our line and played on us with rifle grenades and a machine gun.
We were in a perfect hell of lead and shrapnel, expecting every hour to be our last.
The Germans advanced and got into the trenches on our right, so we had to fight frontwards and sidewards. We were forced to retire at a terrible price.
Last Saturday was...
Poised on the rim of the 21st, Eld is born, whose life will show a new kind of sacrifice.
You'll find in woods something not found in books.
For the body, manual labor. For the mind, study. And for the soul, prayer and contemplation.
With tiers of arches soaring to the sky, the new church is a transformation of rock into human feeling.
I feel the need of a day's retreat among...
So many die that the dead lie where they fall.
What have you for me? I expect solution. Pious are you? I'll teach you politics.
These fruits of industry enrich the place.